All right, we have the recording now in progress, so be careful what you say because we're going to have a permanent record, okay? I wouldn't want you guys to get any more trouble than you're already in. Uh, Welcome to the Unity of Livonia, A Course in Miracles Study Group, everyone. And I'm glad we could get together again. I think, we talked last week about how we're doing a lot more discussion instead of simply trying to finish whatever's on the reading schedule. And seemed like most of us agreed that that was a good pace for us. And so I'm comfortable with it and want to continue with that this evening. I think we have a good time together, and we talk about some very deep subjects. But from your response, I get the feeling you find it helpful. Do these sessions make a difference in your day-to-day life very much? Have you changed anything, or is your life happier?
Overall, yes. Over a period of time.
Yeah.
Since I've been coming here, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know when I started, but it seems like many months ago. But
do you worry about things as much? I'm not just talking to Frank. I'm just throwing some questions out. Do you worry as much?
No, I don't. I'm just am getting back into it again, and it makes me think a lot differently than I had been thinking recently.
Yeah.
Coming back to it, and I find that's good.
Yes, thank you. Any other comments?
I find I'm much more calm when things don't go according to my plan.
Yeah, like I'm calm. It's like I know it's gonna be ups and downs. It's not like I haven't seen it before. So
Right.
why get upset every up and every time? I mean, it's a natural pattern here. And I'll tell you, I've just kind of learned, like the Course teaches, to kind of stay above it. And the world didn't end. The problem just ended the way it was going to end anyway, minus all my anxiety. Right. So, I'll do what I can or feel what I'm supposed to do, but I don't do it with anxiety and fear. I just do my part every day. And it's been my experience that I'm a lot more peaceful all the time. I don't get angry nearly as much as I used to. And, that opening to chapter 8 in the text, the journey back, it says, knowledge is not the motivation for learning this course. What is?
Peace.
Yeah.
Peace of God.
Yeah. And so I reflect on what the Course told me when I think about my state and my lifestyle now. I'm just so much more at peace. So maybe it's letting go and letting God. This stuff works for me. At any rate, it has served me well, and I'm going to keep doing it. So
thank you.
You got to pick something. I'm going to pick this. Okay. I'm lazy. Okay. I trust that everyone has our agenda. Well, first of all, anything any of you want to say or share before we go on? how about any comments or questions from our study this week? And this past week, we started chapter 18 and theoretically completed it. So, and then as far as lessons, we came out of the review number 3 and hit the ground with lesson 121, one of my all-time favorites. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness offers everything I want. At any rate, no pressure. Any comments or questions before we move on? All right, so be it. Let's move on then. Tonight, I'd like to start in the workbook for students. And our lesson on the schedule for today in the workbook is lesson 127. Are you surprised when I say one of my favorites also?
Nope.
There is no love but God's. So without further ado, why don't we get on into it, people? Sherilyn, reader number 1. Frank is 2. Gina, 3. Joan is number 4. Jan's not reading. Hilda, what are you doing? She's probably muted here. Let's see.
Yeah, I was muted.
Thumbs up.
Okay, I'll read.
Okay. Are you back permanently reading by default?
Well, permanent is a long time.
I know.
One
Are
week at
you gonna be a regular reader unless you? I'll say you're a reader unless you tell me that night I don't want to read. I'll put.
Thank you.
All right. Permanent is that is a long time. Hilda, reader 5, Ron, number 6. Okay. Did I cover everyone?
Jeanette?
Jeanette? So let's just get started with Sherilyn White on 127.
Is Jeanette reading?
No, Jeanette's not reading. You there, Sherilyn? Let's see. Oh, Sherilyn, unmute yourself, dear.
Yeah, muted.
I can unmute you if you want.
Well, I don't know why it doesn't. There it goes.
There you got it.
Okay. All right. There is no love but God's. Perhaps you think that different kinds of love are possible. Perhaps you think there is a kind of love for this, a kind of love for that, a way of loving one, another way of loving still another. Love is a way, let's see. Love is one. It has no separate parts and no degrees, no kinds nor levels, no divergencies, and no distinctions. It is one. It is like itself, unchanged throughout. It never alters with a person or a circumstance. It is the heart of God and also of his Son.
Mm-hmm. And let's do another one, okay, Frank? And then we'll talk.
2, love's meaning is obscure to anyone who thinks that love can change. He does not see that changing love must be impossible. And thus he thinks that he can love at times and hate at other times. He also thinks that love can be bestowed on one and yet remain itself, although it is withheld from others. To believe these things of love is not to understand it. If it could make such distinctions it would have to judge between the righteous and the sinner and perceive the Son of God in separate parts.
Comments? Have you always thought of love in these terms?
No,
You know, somebody, what's the traditional meaning of love? What'd you grow up thinking it meant?
I think people think about romantic love.
falling in
when
love
they
and
say love.
romantically.
Yeah, romantic love. And the first time I was exposed to something broader was at my church when they talked about agape love. And it was stated as unconditional love, like agape love is the love of God. But until then, I thought that you lived and found somebody to love, and then the two of you would love each other and ride off into the sunset, and everything would be bliss. That's what I saw in the movies.
Fairy story.
So what do you think of this definition, and do you want it? Oh,
I'm still working on loving people all the same.
Me too.
I kind of love some people more than others,
yeah.
so it's a work in progress for me.
Thanks, Ron. I think that's true for me too, although I've certainly gotten better at it. Some other, well, let me ask Ron this. Is your goal, I mean, it's a work in progress, but is your goal to love everyone and everything?
Yes, it is. I think that's a good goal. I think it's attainable. It's just changing
Yeah,
some of my thinking, and
yeah.
it takes practice.
I think that even to think of it as being attainable was foreign to me. When I first read this stuff, there's a lot of places where I go, I love you, Jesus, but I don't know about that. Are you sure? That can't be done. And he retorts, well, I demonstrated that it could. Under much more extreme examples than you live with, Jim. Do you get the feeling Jesus was from all accounts, was a good practitioner under this definition?
Definitely.
So is that why in Unity we call him the way shower? The human that showed it could be done? Anyhow, I think the point is here in these first two paragraphs is that love is one. It has no levels, no distinctions, no degrees, no divergencies, no exceptions. And that's not what we've been taught. We've been taught what the Course would call what?
Conditional love?
Yeah, conditional love or special love. Isn't that a refrain? You know, many of the chapters in the text talk about specialness and special love. And so, you know, you're looking for that other half, that special someone. And then you can just go off with that special someone and forget the rest of the world. Screw the rest of the world. I got my baby now. That's all I need is you. I don't need all of this other stuff. I just need you, dear. You've heard this, right? None of you ever have experienced this. Okay. So this is a radical departure to start out with, wouldn't you say? From what the Course does that a lot, right? It gives a different definition to things and words we thought we already knew the meaning of. This one is a real breakthrough. Why should you be able to do this though, practically speaking? Love everyone and everything.
Actually, we're not separate. It's almost like loving yourself.
Because we're not separate. That's what you said, right, Joe?
Right.
So yeah, that kind of paves the way and makes the rationale a little more acceptable as to why this might be a goal for us. But the really striking thing for me is, again, back at that lesson 67, where it says, love created me like itself. So if that's true, I'm literally love. So shouldn't it be easy to be myself? Yes, no, maybe, scared to talk?
I think it gets easier. I think we're getting closer to what we're talking about.
Yeah,
I think we're going in the right direction.
yeah.
And I think
Go ahead.
that's what makes us feel better, as you talked about when we started this, that you
Yes.
feel better, you're more at peace. I think it's because of that change that's coming about.
Yeah, because sorting and
Too much work and doesn't help.
discerning and who to love and who to hate and who's in between, that's a lot of work.
Yes, it is.
Think of the toll it's taken on our energies over time. And now I'm finding, hey, here's how you solve the problem. Just treat them all the same.
Yes.
Our lives would be so much easier if we could just treat everyone the same. The
Wouldn't the
deal
world
is, I can't treat you nice if you don't treat me nice. That's where the rub is, isn't it?
Yes,
We
yes.
expect something in return, not realizing that what we get in return doesn't come from the outside, it comes from our inside. Okay, I am made of love, and my vibrancy comes as a gift from my Creator. So what would love do with a gift?
Accept it.
Share it. Yes?
Yes.
So when I share it, I'm not necessarily looking for a return on the outside, but because I've used my gift for the purpose it was given to me, as I share it, I get more of it. But when I hoard it, it's like a dam, that stops up the flow. And so I feel like powerful, vibrant, like I'm okay. So I'm not there yet either, Ron and everybody, but I am so much more into this than I used to be, and that's the truth. Why don't we continue if you want? Gina's our next reader. We're on 3.
Right.
Mhm.
Can you come back to me? I have to deal with my dog.
Oh, sure.
Thank
Let's
you.
go to Joni.
Okay, paragraph 3.
Mhm.
Love cannot judge. As it is one itself, it looks on all as one. Its meaning lies in oneness, and it must elude the mind that thinks of it as partial or in part. There is no love but God's, and all of love is His. There is no other principle that rules where love is not. Love is a law without an opposite. Its wholeness is the power holding everything as one, the link between the Father and the Son, which holds them both forever as the same.
And let's do 4, okay? Hilda's next.
Okay. No course whose purpose is to teach you to remember what you really are could fail to emphasize that there can never be a difference in what you really are and what love is. Love's meaning is your own and shared by God Himself. For what you are is what He is. There is no love but His, and what He is everything there is. There is no limit placed upon Himself, and so are you unlimited as well.
Thanks, Hildegard. How many times have we asked the question, what am I?
Many.
And I don't think I'm alone or we're alone. That seems to be the predominant question of our whole species, which is really sad when you think about it. A whole group that has no idea what they are. So, what does the Course say we are?
I am one with God.
Yeah,
I am love.
that's all. Okay. Thank you for being direct. Okay. We can flower it up, but I want to make sure we're not missing the point. It's not rocket science. It's not phrases or enhancements. How difficult is it for you and me to accept, what am I? I am love. Is that okay with you?
Not easy.
No, it's not.
Now,
Not easy.
who in their right mind wouldn't want to be loved? Do you see how messed up I am? Do you see the insanity? To fight against such a glorious assignment. Who would fight? Who wouldn't want that? It starts with an E.
ego.
So do you see that the ego is not this stagnant thing that we can put on a table and look at it and examine it? I want you to see our egos at work at this moment. Because who would object to being loved? Our egos. Don't you feel it talking to you saying bullshit?
Yeah, sometimes.
So I'm just trying to show you this thing that we need to be vigilant against is alive, it's active, it's powerful, and it's with us at every moment, requiring vigilance. Be vigilant only for God and his kingdom. Have you heard that part anywhere?
Yep.
All right. Any other questions here? We did, 4 and 5, right?
No, you just finished
3
4.
and 4.
Within
3
4.
and 4? My
Yeah.
bad. So I have Ron. I'm sorry. Yeah, Ron is next, please.
I thought somebody was before me.
Well, it
Would you-
was Hildegard,
Okay,
and she just read, I think.
well,
Yeah.
who did we skip? We skipped somebody, but
We skipped Gina.
Yep, Gina.
Yeah, Gina, we just do skip Gina. Just keep on going.
Gina, are you available to read, Gina?
Sure. I can jump in here.
Go on, jump in now, please.
Number 5, no law the world obeys can help you grasp love's meaning. What the world believes was made to hide love's meaning and to keep it dark and secret. There is not one principle the world upholds but violates the truth of what love is and what you are as well.
Thank you. Ron, you want to take the next one now?
yes. Seek not within the world to find yourself. Love is not found in darkness and in death. Yet it is perfectly apparent to the eyes that see and the ears that hear love's voice. Today we practice making free your mind of all the laws you think you must obey, of all the limits under which you live, and all the changes that you think are part of human destiny. Today we take the largest single step this course requests in your advance towards its established goal.
Thank you. By the way, did you note sentence 5? Sounds like a big deal, doesn't it? Today, we take the largest single step this course requests in your advance toward its established goal. What do you think that step is? Hi, Sue. Sorry I didn't say hello before. Welcome. I'll get you up to speed here in a moment, Sue, but
Okay,
the rest of you saying
thank you.
certainly. What are the rest of you saying about that sentence 5? What is the largest step, or has he said what it is yet?
To realize what we really are, that we really are love.
Yeah. Yeah, but you say I'm love, but my cousin, they couldn't possibly be love. And yet this book says, yes, they are. Whether they know it or not, whether it's been covered up by the laws of the world or not. And so it's going to be a service to your enemies. They'll be a bit taken aback when your response isn't to hit back but rather to use some of the Holy Spirit's responses instead. Well, they'll walk all over me then, right? They'll bully me and they'll do this and do that. I'm not sure, but the Holy Spirit says it will take care of you. Just do what I tell you to do instead of what the Eve thing tells you to do. I'll show you. It'll work. But it won't work if you don't try it. It won't. I can guarantee it won't work if you don't do it. But to my surprise, and maybe I'm still in baby steps. I mean, I'm not over in Gaza, right? Or in Ukraine. But in my mild encounters, I found this is working for me much better than I ever thought it would, but I just stepped out and trusted and made the commitment. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Yep.
All right. Sue, we are on page 231 in the workbook for students. It's lesson 127.
She's 31.
And we're getting ready to start paragraph 7. Unless y'all had questions on 5 and 6, anybody? So we're going to start paragraph 7. And quite frankly, Sue, do you want to be our reader? Ron was 6. I can make you 7 if you're ready.
That's fine. I got 7. That's if you achieve, right?
Yes, it is. Go right ahead. Good to see you back again.
Thank you. If you achieve the faintest glimmering of what love means today, you have advanced in distance without measure and in time beyond the count of years to your release. Let us together then be glad to give some time to today and understand there is no better use for time than this.
Thank you, Sue. And Sherilyn, we're back to you, okay? Sherilyn, you there?
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, I
Ah.
can't see you either, but any you.
Well,
I can hear you. That's cool.
okay. For 15 minutes twice today, escape from every law in which you now believe. Open your mind and rest. The world that seems to hold you prisoner can be escaped by anyone who does not hold it dear. Withdraw all value you have placed upon its meager offerings and senseless gifts, and let the gift of God replace them all.
And let's, if it's okay, let's do one more. Frank, would you? 10?
Yes. Number 9, call to your father, certain that his voice will answer. He himself has promised this, and he himself will place a spark of truth within your mind wherever you give up a false belief, a dark illusion of your own reality and what love means. He will shine through your idle thoughts today and help you understand the truth of love. In loving gentleness, he will abide with you and allow you his voice to teach love's meanings to your clean and open mind. And he will bless the lessons with his love.
Thank you. Comments? We did 7, 8, and 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything going as expected with this conversation. How many of you have done this lesson before?
Long time ago.
Okay. So for most of you, this is a familiar lesson. So maybe it doesn't bear a lot more in terms of discussion. I would just ask you about the sentence in paragraph 7, sentence 1. If you achieve the faintest glimmering of what love means today, you have advanced in distance without measure and in time beyond the count of years to your release. What's he
That's
mean?
encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And is that like time travel or something?
Sounds like it.
Yeah. And yet, the reason I mention it is because it's kind of the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
It's like instead of traveling through time,
Be a part of it.
doing these practices will collapse time. Who's following me? Remember, there is no time, right?
Right.
Right.
So the more quickly we get into this mode and learn these lessons, have you ever said, Jesus, like, that your learning reduces this by 1,000 years? Any sentences like that? The point is that it's moving extraordinarily quickly, but it's not doing it by traveling through time. It's collapsing time that it would otherwise take us as a species to realize this. Why do we have to realize it as a species?
That's how it works.
What? Oh, I'm doing good tonight.
Because we're all one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you see how these fundamentals help you to answer all the questions along the way? So I can't just do it for Jim. Jim's only a piece or part of the whole. In order to nudge the whole, we have to get enough of us doing it that the light gets so bright that it makes a difference on the scale. And when the light gets bright, you know how some people are leaders and some people are followers?
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to have to make everybody do it. But if you get this critical mass doing it, where the followers going to go?
With the believers.
Yeah.
With the leaders, with the pioneers. So the task may not be as ginormous as we might think, although certainly challenging. Anyhow, if just that sentence I wanted to talk about, and if you're okay with that, let me get back to my original list where Gina was number 3. How's your dog?
He's
I want
good.
you to read paragraph
Quiet.
10.
He's quiet for now.
All right. I'm sorry if he's not feeling well.
Yeah. So
We're
we're
on
on
paragraph 10.
10, right? Yep. Okay. Today, the legion of the future years of waiting for salvation disappears before the timelessness of what you learn. Let us give thanks today that we are spared a future like the past. Today we leave the past behind us, never more to be remembered. And we raise our eyes upon a different present, where a future dawns, unlike the past, in every attribute.
Why don't we continue with Joni, please?
Okay. The world in infancy is newly born. and we will watch it grow in health and strength, to shed its blessing upon all who come to learn to cast aside the world they thought was made in hate to be love's enemy. Now are they all made free along with us. Now are they all our brothers in God's love.
Thank you. And Hilda, 12?
We will remember them throughout the day because we cannot leave a part of us outside our love if we would know ourselves. At least 3 times an hour, think of one who makes the journey with you and who came to learn what you must learn. And as he comes to mind, give him this message from yourself. I bless you, brother, with the love of God, which I would share with you. For I would learn the joyous lesson that there is no love but God's, and yours and mine and everyone's.
Thank you. Questions? Okay. Let's reflect a little further. I've brought some music for meditation period here. So let's take a moment and do that. There is no love but God's. I guess, period, full stop, drop the mic. There is no love but God's. Bear with me here, folks. Sorry. Okay. Why am I having this difficulty? Let's just go here. And we'll start here. There is no love but God's. There is no love but God's. Is that an example of non-duality? What is non-duality? You're familiar with it? You can unmute yourselves. I know you're dying to answer the question. Somebody.
As I understand it,
No
we are all
opposites.
one.
We're all one. And Joan said, what'd you say, Joan?
I said there are no opposites, all is one.
Okay. Is that simple or complicated?
It's simple. Duality would refer to
Say it again, Sherilyn.
duality is a term for two. It looks to say more. There is more than one love, and so God's love, they're telling us, is non-duality. There's only God's love.
How do you live that though?
Well, I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet.
And the point
Takes
is,
practice.
here's where I'm coming from. I mean, this sounds like a small nuance to regular people, but the point is, I can't figure it out. I'm not capable of figuring it out because I'm too screwed up. The idea of being only love still kind of makes me pause. Well, I don't know. And so,
Yeah.
know, who wouldn't want to be nothing but love? And my ego says that's boring. So
Well,
the point is, the practice is not figuring it out, but to let it be done for me. Do y'all see the difference?
sure.
Admittedly, it's too hard for me to figure out. But I have a teacher, a guide, a way shower that will show me how to do it if I'm willing. So what I have to do is not work, it's stop work. Does that make sense?
Go
I
and
have
let it
to
come.
get out of the way. My thinking just interferes. Who's hearing me or even wants to pray? Do you want to try it? Theoretically, it should be easier than what we've been doing.
Definitely.
I'm lazy, man. Yeah, somebody can do this for me. Let me give that a try. That's the best deal I've heard in a while. Anyhow, there's only one thing. Anything other than one thing cannot be real. So do you want to know how to identify illusions?
Yes.
The first step is that it's not loving. One of the ways you can tell it's not loving is it produces some tension, produces some stress, produces some anxiety, produces some conflict. How can there be conflict if it's all one thing? Do you see how it can't butt up against each other?
Mm-hmm.
Theoretically, it's a lot simpler living, isn't it? Theoretically, I said theoretically. Okay. All right. I won't belabor this if everybody's good. Could you hear the meditation piece, everybody?
Yes,
You could
I
hear it,
could.
okay? All right. And I know it was a little slow moving, but sometimes I like that one too. We are ready for our text study. And tonight we're on chapter 19, the Attainment of Peace. And this one always stands out to me because of section Roman numeral 4. So when you get there this week, to me, it's probably one of the deepest discussions. But it's significant. Look at page 406. It's called The Obstacles to Peace. Do you see it?
Is that in the workbook?
No,
No.
we're in the text now. Chapter 19, we're on page, well, right now on page 406, because I want to talk about the obstacles to peace real quick.
Okay,
You find it yet? Let me know.
I'll find it.
Okay. I remember this one because I used to do a radio show called ACIM Gather on internet radio. And I remember the first time I considered presenting this on my show. But I'll tell you the first sign, do you see on page 407, it says A?
Uh-huh.
And then on 410, it's like A1. And then when you go over to page 412, it's B. And over on 414, it's B1. Remember I said when you see Jesus start numbering or lettering things, pay attention. It's significant. Long story short, I won't belabor this. This section, section 4, I believe is the longest section in the course. The Obstacles to Peace goes for 18 pages.
Wow.
So just get ready for that discussion. Try and stay with it as best you can. But I remember I had to break it up into parts, into maybe 3 radio shows where I continued on that. But it's beautiful stuff if you can begin to understand it. So just forewarn, that's coming up this week. Do the best you can. If I can be of assistance, let me know. At any rate, the chapter starts on page 398. So is Ron next? Who's next?
Yes, I am.
Great. Why don't we just go ahead and get started then?
Okay,
398.
Yes.
398.
The chapter 19, the Attainment of Peace. You got it, Sue?
Yeah. Thank you.
Excellent. Yes, of course. Ron?
Yes, Roman numeral 1 is healing and faith. Number 1, we said before that when a situation has been dedicated wholly to truth, peace is inevitable. Its attainment is the criterion by which the wholeness of the dedication can be safely assumed. Yet we also said that peace without faith will never be attained, for what is dedicated to truth as its only goal is brought to truth by faith. This faith encompasses everyone involved, for only thus the situation is perceived as meaningful and as a whole. And everyone must be involved in it, or else your faith is limited and your dedication incomplete.
Thank you. Sue, would you do paragraph 2 and we'll talk about it then?
Okay. Every situation properly perceived becomes an opportunity to heal the Son of God. And he is healed because you offered faith to him, giving him to the Holy Spirit and releasing him from every demand your ego would make of him. Thus, do you see him free? And in this vision, does the Holy Spirit share? And since he shares it, he has given it, and so he heals through you. It is the joining him in a united purpose that makes this purpose real, because you made it whole. And this is healing. The body is healed because you came without it and joined the mind in which all healing rests.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know how you remember in the course it says a few times, if a brother asks a ridiculous thing of you to do it?
Yeah.
Anybody remember? It stood out to me because what, right? I like a lot of this stuff. But what would be the repercussions of following that advice? Would it work out well? Would it not work out well? What are your why? And why do I bring it up here? What is it in these things? Every situation properly perceived becomes an opportunity to heal the Son of God. And he is healed, why? Because you offered faith to him, giving him to the Holy Spirit and releasing from the demands of your ego. So if a brother asks a ridiculous thing of you, not one that's going to harm either of you, okay, nothing to that extent, what's the advantage of going along and doing it? Are there any benefits to that?
It's
You
your
get
love
a
for your friend to do it.
peaceful, discussion.
What did Joan say?
Let's see, we got Frank and then Joe. Frank, go ahead again, and then I'll go back to
Because
Joe.
I love my friend and I will do what is loving for him or her.
Yeah, but they're asking you to do something stupid. Is that where you draw the line?
That's how stupid it is.
Joan, your comments on, was it similar to Frank's, or what was your comment?
Said to, when your brother behaves insanely, treat him as if he were sane.
You see how she's reinterpreting so that you kind of see beyond this veil. And how would your brother see you if instead of disagreeing and treating them like they're an idiot, you said, okay, what would that do to your relationship?
It would be peaceful.
Yeah, and they might be willing to be closer to you because you didn't treat them with disdain or treat them like an idiot. And by the way, if you treated them like an idiot?
You'll get an idiot.
Does that mean that your opinion is better than theirs?
No,
No.
Means your
That's
ego's
usually,
in charge.
Say that again.
Means your ego jumped in there.
yeah,
That's what he's saying here.
that's,
Sue, go ahead.
that's used in mental health all the time, providing it is not dangerous to the person.
And that's exactly what Jesus quoted here in the course. He says it a couple times. If your brother asks something ridiculous, go along with it. And then he'll say, you remember I told you to go along with it, but I certainly didn't mean to go along with it to the point that it's harmful to them or to you. But within a certain area, in terms of techniques to heal relationships instead of divide them, you see what I mean? I'm smart, you're stupid, blah, blah, blah. Is it worth it sometimes to say, yeah, okay, sure? Would it really kill you?
No.
So what I used to see as a problem, this stupid person I'm with, becomes every situation properly perceived becomes an opportunity to heal. Now, what is healing? It starts with a WHOLE. Okay. That's what healing really is. It has nothing to do with pills and surgeries and broken fixing. Okay. Healing is restoring wholeness. And there's a whole endeavor there that your teacher knows about that you can't figure out. No offense, Sherilyn. Would you figure it out on your own that if a brother says something ridiculous that you do it? But see, that's the Holy Spirit. Go ahead.
your question is, would I figure it out on my own?
Yeah.
You'd
say, no, well, they're okay, but they say stupid stuff, so I just don't hang around them that much. That's what my ego would say at best.
Well, I'm going through some of that here with some people, but
yeah.
Do I say something or do I keep my mouth shut?
I don't know. The point
I
is
don't either.
that's the point. I don't know, but there's something in me that keeps saying that does. That'll tell me what to say at the right time and when to shut up at the right time. So the pressure's not on me because I'm using this guy that's always right. His methods may seem foreign to me, but I trust it. I'm just gonna let go, right? I'm not gonna worry about when I should say something and when I shouldn't. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do because he who is with me will direct me. Yes? How many times do we say that?
Every.
How many times do you live it?
Not very often.
Do you see the difference between the theory and the application? Look, these are words on a friggin' page. They have no magical power. Except if you use them.
You know,
Yes. Sue?
I wanted to share this before too, because I'm listening and it's very profound. If we operated from love and we treated people with love, we didn't sit and have a dictionary definition of love. We just loved and we cared about people. You wouldn't have Afghanistan, you wouldn't have Ukraine, you wouldn't have Hamas, you wouldn't have Israel. And it sounds like it's, pie in the sky, trying to think of the right word,
Yeah.
but it isn't, because the media would be talking about love because that would be acceptable.
That's correct.
Everybody, what are they talking about now? It's okay to hate. It's okay to harm. It's okay to, I mean, it's a
Not
world
okay.
upside down.
Exactly. And that's what the Course says. The whole thing is 180 degrees from the truth. So the only problem is I can't just do it for me, because I'm not just me. I'm part of the whole. So until all of our brothers and sisters are getting on board, you won't see the major changes. But just for you, don't you see how much better it is for you?
Yes, I do. But I also have to qualify. I do see that. My daughter has been threatened to have her life taken because she's Jewish and she's a community leader and she's won like 5 awards in the past year for what she's done in the state of Michigan. And they found out where it came from. One was from California and 2 were from students in the Kalamazoo area. And she put it all out on Facebook, which it turned out that that was smart because they thought that she wasn't scared and they better shut up. And she called both police in Kalamazoo and her suburb. Now, I don't know how I'd respond in that situation. I can't judge anybody. I can't judge the people who lost their homes and everything they owned, they lost because bombs came into Israel, or those that were beheaded and dragged through the streets.
No.
I mean, I don't know, but that's not for me to judge in quotes in terms of where I'm at, because I don't want my whole life to be concentrated on this, and I don't know what I do being in those circumstances. So I can't judge whether it's fake or it's real. It's easy to judge from here, but it's not easy to judge if you're in the middle of it.
I understand. My heart goes out to your daughter and certainly to you, Sue, for
They haven't come back. This was 3 months ago that this happened. But they haven't come back, thank God.
Comments on what Sue is saying. What I heard you say in essence is that loving everybody, there may be some qualifiers or exceptions, like, and then you gave the exception of your daughter and what she's going through and how it makes you feel toward those who are perpetrating that. So I totally understand. I don't know what to do either. And yet I don't have any other solutions except stuff that's being suggested here, and that the action be taken on faith.
I still go from love, by the way, and so does Michelle. And she's still out there talking and being a leader.
I understand. Doing what is her destiny, she feels.
Yeah.
Comments from others before we do some more? Who's our next reader then? Okay, we got some time. I'm showing, I don't know what I'm showing. Who just read?
Is it Sue?
Sue read? So
Yeah.
we're back to Sherilyn White. Yay.
Yay.
Are we on? Oh God, what paragraph? 3?
3, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
The body
Okay.
cannot heal.
The body cannot heal because it cannot make itself sick. It needs no healing. Its health or sickness depends entirely on how the mind perceives it and the purpose of that, and the purpose that the mind would use it for. It is obvious that a segment of the mind can see itself as separated from the universal purpose. When this occurs, that state, oh, I gotta put my glasses on here, sorry. When this occurs, the body becomes its weapon, used against this purpose to demonstrate the fact that separation has occurred. The body thus becomes the instrument of illusion, acting accordingly. See what is not there, hearing what truth has never said, and behaving insanely, being imprisoned by insanity.
A lot there. Let's read one more though, right?
Do not overlook our earlier statement that faithlessness leads straight to illusions. For faithlessness is the perception of a brother as a body, and the body cannot be used for purpose of union. If then you see your brother as a body, you have established a condition in which uniting with him becomes impossible. Your faithlessness to him has separated you from him and kept you both apart from being healed. Your faithlessness has thus opposed the Holy Spirit's purpose and brought illusions centered on the body to stand between you. And the body will seem to be sick, for you have made of it an enemy of healing and the opposite of truth.
It's getting pretty deep already, right?
You're right.
Is this merely redundant so far? Any new ideas? I know, Sherilyn, it resonated when Jesus says the body needs no healing. The body cannot heal because it cannot make itself sick. Somebody chime in, because I know we all want to understand that one better, don't we?
The body is all illusion, so you can't heal an illusion.
And yet, we could use it like a tool. The body is, would you say the body being illusory is neutral?
A neutral thing.
Yeah, my body is a wholly neutral thing. Does that ring a bell?
Yes.
The body is neutral. Everything is mental. So the Course says that the body is neutral. It's kind of like money. Is money good or bad?
Neutral.
It's neutral.
Neutral.
It depends on what it's for. I have given everything I see, which is neutral, right? All the lesson 2. I have given everything I see all the meaning that it has for me. So we're getting these illusions to carry out our mind's wishes. Do you see how powerful our minds are in that it not only carries out the action, but it also precipitates forms for it to act through in support of the reality of this tiny mad idea. It not only does it, but provides all the support systems to add to its seeming reality. Who's confused?
Everybody.
Sorry. Is there more? All right. Let's say up front, it's going to be a tough chapter this week. Okay. Very deep. But let's see if we can read a couple more before we close and get something to where we can even ask a question about. Gina, you're
Okay.
next, right?
Yep. It cannot be difficult to realize that faith must be the opposite of faithlessness. Yet the difference in how they operate is less apparent, though it follows directly from the fundamental difference in what they are. Faithlessness would always limit and attack. Faith would remove all limitations and make whole. Faithlessness would destroy and separate. Faith would unite and heal. Faithlessness would interpose illusions between the Son of God and his Creator. Faith would remove all obstacles that seem to rise between them. Faithlessness is wholly dedicated to illusions. Faith wholly to truth. Partial dedication is impossible. Truth is the absence of illusion, illusion the absence of truth. Both cannot be together, nor perceived in the same place. To dedicate yourself to both is to set up a goal forever impossible to attain, for part of it is sought through the body, though as a means for seeking out reality through attack. The other part would heal and therefore calls upon the mind and not the body.
Okay, and Joan, do that next one, and we'll start closing out.
The inevitable compromise is the belief that the body must be healed and not the mind. For this divided goal has given both an equal reality, which could be possible only if the mind is limited to the body and divided into little parts of seeming wholeness, but without connection. This will not harm the body, but it will keep the delusional thought system in the mind. Here then is healing needed, and it is here that healing is. For God gave healing not apart from sickness, nor established remedy where sickness cannot be. They are together, and when they are seen together, all attempts to keep both truth and illusion in the mind, where both must be, are recognized as dedication to illusion and given up when brought to truth, and seen as wholly unreconcilable with truth in any respect or in any way.
What's he mean when he says in sentence 4, here then is healing needed, and it is here that healing is? Do y'all see that?
He's talking about the mind.
Say that again?
He's talking about the mind.
Yeah. So if you had a remedy, where would you use it? I get it as close as I can to where the sickness is.
Mind.
So in the mind that had the split, God took the remedy and inserted it into the split as well. The remedy, the solution, is within us. Where else would you put the solution except where the problem is? However, what is the requirement for the remedy to work? What is the catalyst to make the solution work?
Faith.
Surrender.
Yes, faith, willingness, acceptance. Why must it be that way, my friends? Why can't the remedy work without acceptance?
Well, it's blocked. It can't get through.
And why would a block? Why can't whatever the remedy is just go through the block?
Because we have free will and you can't, it can't attack. So you have to be willing to accept.
Yeah.
Do you see why we talk about this over and over, that love is quote unquote encumbered by what it is? It can't make you do anything you don't want to do. Is that loving?
No.
I'm just saying no. And yet, isn't that the epitome of love? Is freedom? Is free will? And I'll violate that if it's for your good. No, it's non-dual. It only operates one way, universally, in everything. So the solution is there, awaiting our acceptance. And that acceptance is, using the word here, of faith. What is it Paul in the Bible says? Faith is something for things unseen, but believed anyway. So the solution, the remedy, the problem is not the body, the problem is the mind. And it impacts the body negatively because of the goals of the mind. Now, maybe you don't believe that, or at least at first, but would you be willing to work on healing the mind and see if it does work for the body? Requires a lot of faith, I would think. How are we doing this evening? As usual, we didn't cover very much.
We covered some good points.
Yeah,
Very good points.
What we covered was pretty heavy.
Yeah.
I know. And oh my God, I just feel for you doing the obstacles to peace. But please give it a try. And like the rest of the course, it's quite interesting. The first obstacle to peace is our desire to get rid of it, just to give you a preview. And you say, who in their right mind would desire to give up peace? My ego. At any rate, intriguing already, isn't it? But with a lot of insights. Any final comments, questions, criticism tonight? Are you too are you too tired to smile
Yes.
into this?
Covered a lot of good ideas.
All right,
Yeah.
so we're going to, I'm glad you can see that, but yeah, it was kind of heavyweight tonight. Hey,
Good.
we're good, right? We're troopers.
Yeah.
Final comments? Anything?
It was very interesting and certainly profound.
I'm telling you, cause man, my ears are about to start smoking too on this.
Yeah, mine too.
Anyhow, everybody rest up. Remember, this course says a sense of leisure is essential. So when it gets too profound, I guess rest up and come back later, okay? Thank you all for being here, and I wish you a good rest of the week. See you next time, okay?
Thank you, Jim.
Okay.
I
Thank you, Jim.
don't want to leave out our
You'll be good.
close here. Hilda,
I'm here. I'm ready.
it's out here.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. I am the light of God.
I am the
I
light.
am the light of God.
I am the love of God.
I am the love
I
of
am
Love
the
of
love
God.
God.
I am the power of God.
I am the
I
power.
I
I'm
am
the
the
power
power
of
of
God.
God.
I am the presence of God.
I am the
I
presence.
In the presence of God.
Therefore,
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 wherever I am,
wherever I am,
wherever I am,
God is,
God
God
is,
is,
Yes.
and all is well.
all
and
is
all
well.
is well.
There is nothing to fear.
There is
There
nothing.
is
There's nothing to fear.
There is only love.
There is only love.
only love.
Namaste.
Stay.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Today.
Have a good rest of the evening, dudes. And a great
you.
week coming up. See you next time.
Have a blessed week,
Yes.
everybody.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
thank
much.
you.
It was very
Nice seeing
good.
all of you.
Good night.
Thank you,
Good
Al.
night.